Welcome to the Community Living Education Project's Bite-Sized Lunch Series, Making Assistive Technology Work for You. We are happy you are joining us for today's webinar, Assistive Technology Supports for Individuals who are Blind or Visually Impaired. Today's session is being presented by Ms. Naomi Leibowitz, representing Disability Rights New Jersey, and hosted by the Rutgers Community Living Education Project, also known as CLEP. CLEP is a program through the Rutgers School of Public Health. CLEP is committed to providing individual guidance, mentoring, and education surrounding community living for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The CLEP team can serve as a bridge for advocates and families whose loved ones are ready to explore residential options in the state of New Jersey. To assure the highest sound quality possible, all attendees will be muted during today's event, but we like to keep things interactive. So please feel free to ask your questions to the presenters or hosts by using the chat option on your screen. If you would like to be unmuted to ask your question live, just send us a quick message through the chat feature and we will make sure to unmute you during your turn. Topic-specific questions will be addressed as time allows, and for consideration to all of our attendees, we encourage you to keep questions as general as possible. At this time, I would like to introduce this afternoon's presenter, Ms. Naomi Leibowitz. Naomi, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Melanie. I am so happy to be here. Unfortunately, my partner in crime is not with me, Mike Murata, so I'm here solo. But before we get started, if you want to follow along with these slides, you could get these slides at bit.ly, bit.ly / capital A, T, capital V, I, capital O, CT 6. Or you can scan the barcode. So if you want to follow along with this presentation, please feel free. And I will put that in the chat for you too. As Melanie said, we want to hear from you. We want this to be a discussion and we want your participation. So ask the host to turn on your mics, use the chat. We want your participation. The more you participate, the more you're going to learn. And this is us. Mike Murata, the director who's usually here. Unfortunately, he decided to take vacation. Good for him. And that's me, Naomi Leibowitz. And that's all our contact information. You have these slides, so feel free to reach out to us with any questions you may have. Just a little bit about us. We are the Assistive Technology Act for New Jersey. And we offer 3 core services. One is device demonstrations, where you compare and you contrast features of devices before you make a decision. Really good to do because like sometimes the device may have more than you need. It's sort of like buying a car. You decide on what features you need in the car before you buy it. And that's what a device demonstration does, is show you the features and then you decide, yeah, I really need this feature. No, I don't need this. So I could go to the less expensive option, or I could go to the free option. Other service is the AT loan program, which is a really, really great program. And it's free to anyone in New Jersey, or anyone who's working with a New Jersey client who needs to try out a device before you buy it. It's always great thing to try out devices. before you buy them, because how many times do you buy something and you go, why did I buy this? And you realize it's not what you need. This program lets you try out devices, and we partner with Advancing Opportunities with the program. And I am going to put their information into the chat, just so you have it. And the other one is a device we use where we partner with Goodwill Medical Services. And that's where people would donate like used wheelchairs. They will fix them up and get them out to a person who needs them later on. There might be a slight charge for some of the devices, but it's a great program. So if you have a lot of old equipment that you're no longer using, like wheelchairs, standards, it's a great way of getting them back into the community. And I will put their information in the chat also. Okay, and just to remind you, these are upcoming bite-sized lunch series. The next one is going to be the first Thursday in November, which is going to be supports for the deaf and hard of hearing. You can register for one or more of the workshops, and the link is provided. And this is the last slide about us. And this is a great opportunity to dive deeper into learning. We partner with ATIA Learning Center, and they offer us videos on every topic of AT, visual impairment, deaf or hard of hearing, intellectual disability, things for education, anything possible. And this is free. So you could view their videos for free just by signing up with us. And there's tons of videos. Usually, if you want to view ATIA learning videos, they $45 a shot. So if you just do 2, you got your money's worth because it's free. So sign up, grow your professional learning just by using the videos. And later on, we will group them by sections, like for reading supports, and have group discussions about the topics so people can share more. Okay, now we will get into some quick facts about vision impairments. And I'm going to go over this really quickly. There are links in the slides. So feel free to click on the links to learn more. But some really interesting quick facts about vision. There are 43.4 million people worldwide who are blind. That's a lot of people. 295 million people experience moderate and severe vision impairment. And then there are 258 million that had some sort of mild vision impairment. That's a lot. Take that into consideration. So having these supports is really important. Some New Jersey statistics, which if you look at other states, they are comparable. Females, there are 95,000 females in New Jersey with a vision impairment. Females, and in other states, it's the same. Females have more vision difficulties in some form than males do. Males in other states is always like 25,000 less than the females. And the most prevalent age group in New Jersey is between the ages of 35 to 64, which makes sense. And in other states, it's the same. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, it's always good to know where to start. And also it's always good to look at the SET framework, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. So I'm just going to go over this quickly. If you click on the link, you could find out more about the SET framework. But the first thing you always want to do, you want to look at the someone. Who is the person? What are their needs? What are their likes? You have to take all that into consideration and say, what is it they want to accomplish? You need to make it person-centered. Then you look at the environment. Is it an office setting? Is it a college setting? Is it a school setting? Is it a recreational setting? What is the environment? And as you all know, the environment really changed a lot in the last 3 years. And then you look at the task. What is it that the person wants to accomplish? Is it reading a magazine? Is it for recreation? Is it they just want to get out and play soccer? So you're looking at what is it they want to accomplish. And that's really important to know what the person wants to accomplish before you start throwing tools at them. Once you realize what the person wants to accomplish, you suggest some tools that may help them with accomplishing whatever it is they want to accomplish. So that's the SET framework in a nutshell. Now we get into the technology. But before we do, can people share in the chat what technology they already are using for the visually impaired? There's a lot out there. Or feel free to ask to be unmuted and turn on your mics. Okay. These are just examples of technology. From high tech to low tech. And if you get to this slide, you could click on it and you could find out more about each one of these. There's simple technology. Just say you need to read a hard copy and you don't want to read it on your computer. You could just get a magnifier, which is located in the left-hand corner. If you're reading on a computer, there's drawers. How many people use drawers? JAWS stands for Job access windows with speech. It's a screen. Thank you, Priscilla, for sharing. Priscilla says, the assistive technology that I use as a visually impaired person is a braille display. The National Library of Congress is piloting a program for people who read books by offering portable braille displays to test. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Priscilla. Can you put in Priscilla, do you have the link that you could share in the chat for other people who may be interested? AJ Heller says, the Mac OS has built-in screen reader as well as high contrast and colorblind settings. That is so true. And that's a great point to make. All devices have accessibility settings where you have the voiceover, where you have a screen reader that will read to you, or a magnifying glass. Windows has it, your Android devices have it. Most devices have it under accessibility. So it's a great way to just start playing with it. Can I ask, how many people use the accessibility features that are already built into their devices? Feel free to turn on your mics or ask to be unmuted or share in the chat. How many people are familiar with the Seeing AI app? That is a really, if you're Vanessa says, I've heard of a decide that can tell you the color of an item for those who are colorblind. Sorry if not useful, new to AT decides. Yes, please elaborate on that device.
Naomi?
Yes.
I'm sorry, if I could gently interrupt.
Yes.
Anyone who is sharing the chat, we absolutely appreciate you sharing your resources with us. Again, this is a great space for us to all learn from each other. If you have additional information on an app or a device that you find useful, feel free to find a link to share in the chat section also, so others can explore that as an option to see if that's beneficial for them in their future.
Great. Thank you so much for gently interrupting. So appreciative. Yes, and thank you for keeping an eye on the chat. And thank you everyone for sharing. The CAI app is a really cool app. I'm going to show you a brief demo of it, but you can just point at something and it will read it to you, or you can point at like money, it would tell you about the money. You could point at a person and it would describe the person for you. It would say the person has brown curly hair, it would give you an age it thinks the person is. Usually the age is wrong. Sometimes it goes younger, which makes people feel really good. Sometimes it goes older, which may not be that great, but it's a great little app and it's really nice. It's for Apple devices and it's free. And comparable app is the Lookout. I'm just going to show you a short video. Hopefully this will work. can everyone see the video? It's loading now.
I'll be showing Seeing
You
AI,
can. Yes, Naomi.
free app
Thank
that
you.
narrates the world around you. Designed for the blind and low vision community, this app harnesses the power of AI to open up the visual world and describe nearby people, text, and objects. So right now, I'll launch the Seeing AI app. Now there's a set of options along the bottom to be able to choose from. I have short text, document, product, person, currency, and others. I'll start with short text. This allows me to point my phone at any text like this,
all out of fruits,
and you can
apples,
point it and it'll read it
bananas,
out loud.
oranges.
Now I'm going to switch to
Document.
document. This allows me to take a photo of a page and then run OCR. So here's a paper here.
Bottom left corner
I
not
get
visible.
feedback on how to center.
Hold steady. Processing.
Takes a photo, and now I can read this out loud.
The study of Earth's landforms is called physical geography.
So just take a photo of any piece of paper or a book. It runs OCR and it can read it out loud. At the bottom, I can make the fonts bigger or smaller just by tapping right there. So you can get a sense, and it highlights the word as it reads it out loud. Next, we'll go to product. I'll click here.
Product.
Now I can hold my phone up to any UPC symbol like in a store,
Process. Rich chocolate hot cocoa mix. Rich chocolate.
and it'll quickly tell me exactly what product that is.
Baking powder.
So baking powder and hot chocolate. So this is really useful if you are wanting to be in a store or in your pantry like I am here and identify different products just by their UPC symbol. Now we'll go to person.
Person.
The person feature lets you take a photo, and Seeing AI will identify the person and the face and be able to give an estimate on the age and characteristics and description of that person. It's pretty amazing. Let's try it.
Face near top, mic near center. Process. 49-year-old man with gray hair looking happy.
Hey, it's pretty close. I'm almost 49. It allows you to take a picture of someone, and I can save that photo. Now this works with currency as well. I turned on the currency switch below, and I can hold out different dollar types. Let's watch Seeing AI.
$1 US.
$1, let's try this one.
$5 US.
$5, okay, let's try this one.
$20 US.
Wow, now there's a little flag here in the lower right, American flag. I click this, and I can change the currency. Let's try Canadian. Let's put our friend Elizabeth out there. Let's see if Seeing AI gets it.
20 Canadian dollars.
Pretty good stuff. Next
Okay,
up,
I
we'll try
think you get the idea of what the app can do for you. I mean, it's a really cool little app. It's just point and click. The equivalent for Seeing AI in an Android is called Lookouts. And it's free. I mean, if you just need for some reason a standalone advice, there's also the OrCam, which is very similar to Lookout and Seeing AI, but it's glasses that you wear, and you point the camera at things and it will do the same thing. It will read it to you. Also, how many of you ever heard of the game Gold Ball for the visually impaired? It's a game that they play with, that a visually impaired person can play just by sounds. And there's a video. So if you have the Google Slides, you could just click on these and find out more. There's color contrast apps. There's large timers, cutting devices. Focus is a reading app where it will just dim a portion of the screen for you. And someone mentioned voiceover. Voice in the Mac computers. VoiceOver reads it's not a text-to-speech program where it just reads the text. VoiceOver will read the entire screen to you, whatever is on the screen, so you know how to navigate. Just a quick little example of how VoiceOver works. If the link works, and different ways to use it. You could either select the text
It's safe,
and speak,
secure, and confidential. Your information and privacy are protected.
and VoiceOver also is available in your iOS, on your iPads.
Your response helps to direct billions of dollars in federal funds to local
And you
communities
could just
for
make it
schools
speak
roads,
continuously.
and other public services.
There's lots and lots of commands to learn with VoiceOver. Now it's your turn. This is where, please ask to be unmuted, share in this chat, but let's participate and share with each other. Okay, let's brainstorm some solutions. Ask for the mic to be turned on, share in this chat. Share a situation where you were working with, or you yourself were having a visual impairment and you need assistance with a technology solution. Where anyone, just don't get specific.
Naomi,
Yes.
I had someone private message me and say that they use a voice to text option on their
Great.
phone.
Nice.
Also for maps, they find it helpful to have the assistance of the audio playing for directions.
Those are all great options to have things read to you to help you navigate the computer. Anyone else would like to share? I would give you all a few minutes. We will sit in silence. When we sit in silence, someone will say something.
And just a reminder for everyone to please share any suggestions, ideas that you have, any experiences
Questions?
any questions, any experiences that you've found beneficial in the chat feature. We do have a few people looking to save the chat. It seems like there is a block on that for some reason. We will make sure to save the chat feature and send it in a follow-up email over the next 48 hours, along with a link to this recording. So as everyone's typing in any of their suggestions of resources that they would that they currently use, I just wanted to provide that information.
Thank you. Also, just share a situation where you got stumped and you were like, I don't know what to do. This is a great place to ask questions and see if we could come up with solutions for you of things to try. They may work, they may not, but that's okay. It is, we're talking and trying things.
Naomi, I think that that's a great point, right? That you're bringing up right now. We have a lot of people, sure, right, you're joining either as an advocate, whether that's a self-advocate, an advocate for someone else, a family member or professional in the field. So if you're experiencing a challenge in trying to find a resource for someone, please propose that situation here. Let's hear what everyone else, we have quite a large audience with us today. Let's hear some of the other resources that maybe others can suggest to see how that would help your situation. So again, feel free to put that in the chat section, or if you want to unmute and ask that question live or propose that scenario live, just send me a quick message saying, hey, please unmute me. We'll do that and you can participate live.
We promise we won't bite or anything.
If Mike was here, he may, but Naomi wouldn't. So
Right. Okay, I would just give people a few more seconds if they want to share, and then I will move on.
I do see AJ, I believe, posted.
Oh, okay. Thank you for sharing, AJ. AJ says low tech, but I have a minor. Okay. Someone else just posted. I can't read that fast.
Naomi, are you able to scroll up to the previous message?
Yes.
Okay, great.
AJ shares that he has color blindness and he relies on his fiance to match clothes. And he often dresses like a circus clown on a daily basis. There are, AJ, if you want to reach out to me, because there are some apps out there that help with that. I'm not really sure how good they are, but I could give you some suggestions.
Perfect. And Naomi, at the end, can you just make sure before we sign off to share your contact information again?
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful. And AJ,
Yes.
I think that's so important, right? That's something that Mike and Naomi talk about quite often is starting low tech, right? We have a lot of natural
Yes.
supports in our environment, like you're sharing. But really, even when we're talking about devices, right? Starting low tech and building from there, again, a benefit of the lending library and the other supports and services that Disability Rights provides through their assistive technology services. So yeah, that's great.
Deanna writes, CAI app is able to pick up colors. I did not know that. Thank you for sharing. And it works with there's an app similar to CAI. CAI is specifically for iOS devices, but Lookout will work with Android. And I'm sure that will pick up colors too. Thank you. And okay, we will move on to the next slide since people are not sharing. Okay, thank you, Teresa. App scanning docs is also helpful. Can you elaborate on that a little more? What apps for scanning docs are you talking about? And do they do OCR automatically? Okay, we talked about apps, but we want to make sure that we also talk about how we are designing documents and products. So they work for not just a few people, but they work for everyone. Design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works. So it's important to, when you're designing your materials or you're designing a product, to keep in mind that your audience is bigger than just a few people, that you have to incorporate everyone and needs to work for everyone. So be mindful. I'm just going to go very quickly over some tips for people. top tips, we want to make everything as accessible to people with visual impairments. And when you make things accessible for people with visual impairments, it improves it for everyone, not just the person with the visual impairment. So keep that in mind, that you want to be designing for everyone. And by doing a few basic things, you are going to make your documents, your presentations, your products better for everyone. That is so important. And there are links in here. So please click on the links to learn more about how to make things accessible for everyone. It's recommended to use Sanson Fonts. Those are the ones without the little text at the bottom. They say they are easier to read than the ones with the text, like Times New Roman. The recommended is at least 12-point font, but I would make it 14 point. I would go beyond the recommended to make it easier. There are so many built-in features in Word, websites, and everything that it doesn't make sense not to use the built-in features. And when you're using the headings, the bullet points, the list, it actually makes navigating things so much easier. I mean, if you use headings, you could actually make an outline, especially if you have a long document and you make an outline, you could just click on that heading and go right to that section in the document. Avoid word art, drop cap, text boxes. They really don't work well with screen readers. I mean, you can make your documents look pretty, but you don't need word art to make your documents look pretty. And you want to make sure your documents you can navigate with the keyboard, because if you're visually impaired, you may not be able to use a mouse. You will need to know keyboard commands to get to places. And you want your information to be heard by everyone, not just a few people. Okay, and one important thing to remember, if you make a web page or you make a document, don't use click here, read more. That is not descriptive. That doesn't tell the screen reader what they going to read more about. Sometimes when people are using screen readers, they will bring up a list of links. And if the link just says read more, read more, read more, and they know what article they want to go to, you wouldn't know what article to go to if you're just hearing read more. Make it descriptive. Ask yourself these questions. Where does this link go? What will it do? Where do I want the people to wind up? What else happens when I click on this link? So think about not using non-descriptive phrases like click here or click, because when you're using a screen reader, or even with other things, it just makes it not clear what is going to happen when you click on the link. Also, it's really important if you have images in your document to describe what the image is. You want to put alt text in it so people know what the image is about. Especially if the image has importance to the content. Because with a screen reader, with advanced users, they could skip graphics that are not labeled. But if the graphic is important to your message, label it. For example, the above image, the way you will label it is cartoon image of Mike holding a magic 8-ball, which is displaying the word yes. So you make it brief, you make it short, and you make it to the point. And if it's important to your message, you want to label it. So use alt text. Also, use the built-in accessibility checker. That will pick up some of the accessibility issues. The best thing, though, is get users involved. Get people who have visual impairments involved and say, what do you think? Because the accessibility checker is great. It would pick out probably 90 to 95% of accessible errors, but sometimes it doesn't pick them all out. And sometimes it messes if the layout is logical. I mean, so you want to get a user to test your website, your documents, just to make sure they are as accessible as you think they are. It's always good to get users involved. And let me see if we have any questions in the chat. Okay, so Teresa writes, so incredibly grateful for Microsoft Accessibility Checker. I've heard to not edit the link to change the text. For instance, Google thoughts on this? Can you explain more? Teresa, would you like to turn on your mic and just go deeper in your question, because I'm not sure I'm following? Okay. No, I mean, I would like to answer your question. Or if you just want to type in more. Oh,
I
We
can
were
actually, yep, I can unmute. And so Teresa, we're going to unmute you. Give me just a second.
hi, Teresa, how you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, so I had been told when you have a link, for instance, that you want to send someone to, if you right click it, you can usually edit it and change the text that appears when you get to that link. And I was told to not edit it and change the text, but to rather like let it read out www.google.com versus Google. So I just wanted to know your thoughts on this.
My thought is I would always create a hyperlink, because say a person with a visual impairment, let's say you have 20 links on a page that just say www.google.com/something, something, something. Then you have another link that says www.com/something. It gets really annoying. I will make, do you know how to make hyperlinks? Hello?
Yeah, yes. And so that's what I was curious about, because usually it links, and if you right click it, you can edit it so that it is maybe a little bit more direct rather than reading out the full web address. Maybe it,
I would, and this is just my opinion, and I would check with an actual visual impair. I would rather have hyperlinks on a page than have full-blown web addresses. For me, personally, and I don't have a visual impairment, having all those web addresses on a page just makes it look more cluttered. But if I had a meaningful hyperlink that says it goes to Microsoft Office cheat sheets, that would be more meaningful to me than rather having it read the whole web address. Does that make sense?
And Naomi, is there a specific agency that we could refer Teresa to see if her question has any, if there's any pros or cons to doing this for people who may be using certain
something?
apps?
I would ask the Commission for the Blind
So let
to
me,
see what they think.
yeah, because I just want to make sure that there's not any other underlying reasons why someone is maybe saying not to change the wording in that link. So Teresa, I'm going to actually post the Commission of Blind and Visually Impaired link in the chat section for you to copy and paste. Just highlight and copy that link. Again, we will save the chat feature and share that in our follow-up email with everyone.
Also, let me ask the question let me throw out the question to the audience. What do you think about not changing the text and having it read the whole web address? I would like to hear the audience response to that question because that's a great question. Feel free to ask to be unmuted or share the chat. I agree with AJ Hiller. Yes, they can get extremely long. Hey, AJ, would you say you would rather have a hyperlink then? Let's think about how many people would rather have a hyperlink? Absolutely. Let's. Okay, someone's.
And Naomi, Teresa did add, I guess the person who expressed some concern thought that this was to ensure someone is not getting sent to a spam or phishing link.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I did post that the CBVI web link. So please feel free, Teresa, to reach out just to see if there's any other underlying issues that maybe we're not thinking about.
Right. That's a good point. But then again, if you have a super long link, how do you know that's not spam either?
Yeah, I can imagine that being read, right? Letter by letter would be very cumbersome.
Yeah, it would say www.google.com / blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, that could be, be a spam link too. Anyway, now it's time for you guys to put on your thinking caps again, because we have our scenario for you. And Teresa, thank you for the excellent question. That was great. And thank you for your insight. Okay, this is scenario 1. Joyce really wants to watch the latest binge-worthy series on her streaming service. Joyce is blind and is worried she won't pick up on everything happening on the screen. Any thoughts of how we can help Joyce and how she could pick up everything that is happening on the screen? Feel free to ask to be unmuted. It's really easy. Love to hear your voices. Feel free to share the chat. I give you a few more seconds. One way Joyce can hear everything that is happening on the screen when no one is speaking is audio description. And this is an example of audio description of Frozen, just to give you what it's like to hear audio description. And let me see.
From the creators of Tangled and Wreck-It Ralph, Disney.
Just want to make sure. Are you seeing the
Lights,
screen?
Shuffles up to a purple flower peeping
Yes,
out
we are.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
He takes a deep sniff. His nose lands on a frozen pond. A reindeer looks up and pants like a dog. Seeing the reindeer slip on the ice, the snowman smiles and moves towards him, though actually he's running on the spot. The reindeer falls on his chin. The snowman uses his arm as a crutch. The reindeer paddles his front legs. Head over heels, the snowman crawls along the ice. The reindeer does the breaststroke. The snowman rolls his body, but flips onto his back. The reindeer's tongue sticks to the ice. The snowman held his head. Twig arm and reindeer lips tug at the carrot. The carrot flies off and lands in soft snow. The reindeer goes after it with snowman and his body parts hanging on his tail. The snowman puts himself back together again and glumly contemplates his noseless state. The reindeer jams the carrot back in place and pants like a proud puppy. The snowman pats him with his stick-thin arm, then goes to sneeze. He grabs his nose with both hands. His head shoots on. Frozen, coming this winter in 3D.
Okay, thoughts? What were people's thoughts about the audio description? Oh, wow. That's cool that TV has it built in as an option. And there's a few commercials with audio description. Very cool. That was cool. Thank you. And any other comments? Any other thoughts? I know it's getting.
Close your eyes and you can't follow most movies with just listening.
And there's another one, and people can feel free to watch it. And I know. Thank you, Kimberly, for sharing. She also uses DCMP, the website, because it has audio captions for some educational videos. Kimberly, you wouldn't happen to have the website handy so that other people could see it? That is an awesome website. Great, thank you so much. That is great. And thank you, Barbara. It's good to always see you. We have one more scenario. There are, at the end of the slides, feel free, tons and tons of resources on things that we discussed. Please feel free to check them out, and thank you. And to get the slides again, this is the website, or scan the code. Tons. As I said, there are tons of resources. And thank you, everyone.
Naomi, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We truly appreciate your time today. And oh, perfect. So we have Mike and Naomi's contacts on the screen. Feel free to reach out to them with any specific questions that you may have. I would suggest that you reach out directly to Naomi at this time, since
Mike is on vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Again, the Bite Size Lunch Series is a monthly conversation that we have, and we appreciate everyone joining us for this month. Look for next month's registration. If you haven't already registered, you can do so through the link that you received to register for this session, and look for future community living education projects. Again, that's from Rutgers University. Look for our emails, and you'll have a link for the rest of these sessions, along with upcoming webinar topics and information and resources that may be valuable to you or the people that you support. At this time, so we're preparing to say goodbye. Please know that on your screen, you're going to see a brief survey pop up. It's the information that you contribute that allows us to plan for future sessions to better address the needs of the community. So Naomi, thank you again. Lovely job. As always, thank you for your time and sharing all your resources with us. And we look forward to next month's session.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. And again, look for the email within the next 48 hours. That's going to share a recording of this session, along with, I'm going to make sure to save the chat so we get that to you also. Okay. Be well, everyone. Thank you again.